Hello everyone. So as a continuation of this particular module, we are moving on with the topics. So far we have learned about the basics of pointers in this program. We saw what happened when we create a pointer and what is the purpose of a pointer we understood from this program. And then we looked into a program where a pointer, just like being connected to variables, it can be connected to objects also. And we saw that what happens when an object is getting connected to a pointer, we can access it via the arrow operator, or we can access it via the dot operator. All these things we looked in the previous session, and we looked into this pointer also. And moving on, we are coming to this topic: pointers to base class and derived class. What exactly are we trying to achieve in this topic? I'll give you an idea about it. Basically, what we are trying to do here is in a program we are going to create a pointer. Now, a pointer can belong to a class, and now we are considering the situation where there is inheritance. In the previous program, there was only a single class, and now we are going to consider a situation where there is inheritance, which means there will be a base class and there will be a derived class. So we are creating a pointer which can either be of the base class or the derived class, and we are connecting this pointer to an object. Now this object can belong to the base class as well as the derived class, and we are going to see what happens when a base class pointer is connected to a base class object, and what happens when it tries to access the base class variable as well as the derived class variable. This is what we are going to study over here, and we are going to fill up this table. We are taking a look at this program. So as usual, you have your header file and you're using namespace std statement. You have a class A. Now this class A is the base class. I hope you remember the concepts of the inheritance that we had learned earlier. And this class A is the base class, and it has a public access specifier. Inside that you have a variable B. So this variable exists, which is of the name B, and then you have a function over here by means of which you can display this variable B as well as its value. Now this class ends over here, and here we have the derived class. So as you can see over here, you have a class B which is inheriting from class A, which is a base class, and inside that you have a variable D, and you have a function display. So you can see here that both the class A and class B, that is a base and the derived, has a function display, but they are displaying two different functions, so it can be treated as an example of polymorphism. And we are seeing this program over here. We have this function called display. Now this can display the value of both D as well as B. Now since B inherits from A, it can access B variable also, and hence it can display. Now we are coming to the main function, the was situation over here. So as mentioned in the previous table, we are going to see the case where the pointer belongs to base class and the object also belongs to the base class. So we are coming to this program. So you can see this pointer over here, star CP. Star CP belongs to the class A. Class A is the base class. And you have an object A being created over here, and that object A also belongs to the base class, which is capital A. And now in this statement you can see that the pointer is connected to the object. I repeat, you have the pointer star CP which belongs to the class A, which is a base class, and you have an object small a which is also belonging to the class A, which is a base class. And you're in this statement you're connecting your object with the pointer. Now what we are trying to do here is we'll look into this table, and first we are going to look into a situation where it is trying to access the base variable. So the base variable here is B. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to use this pointer CP to access the variable B, and here you can see that it is using the arrow operator. So we have to use the title CP arrow operator B equal to 100. So we are going to try to access a variable B and see if it runs, and as you can see over here, this CP, that is the pointer, is calling the function display also. So we are going to run this program and we'll see the output. Yes, and the program has been successfully executed, and you can see that the value B has been displayed with 100. So if you can see this output, by then it should be clear that though the object belongs to the base class and the pointer also belongs to the base class, the function display called is the one that belongs to the base class. I hope it is clear, because only B value is displayed and D is not displayed. If this display would have been called, then your statement would have a B value also correspondingly, but that didn't come, which means this particular pointer is calling a display function, and even though there are two functions with the same name, it has called the function of the base class and it has displayed the same. So we are coming to this table and we can see that it has worked properly. So this access is possible. And we are going to look into the case of a derived variable. So derived variable would be D. So I'm trying to access this particular. So nothing has changed. The object belongs to the base class. The pointer also belongs to the base class, but it's trying to access the derived class variable D. And when we try running this program, you can see that it has resulted in an error. Now, what would have happened as the error? Because you can see that this is the base class object as well as the base class pointer, and you can see that it is trying to access the derived class variable, which is not possible in the scheme of inheritance. I hope you remember the previous concepts that we had learned with respect to inheritance. So this is not possible. Now, the second case we are trying to do, the pointer belongs to the base class and the object belongs to the derived class. So we are coming to this. So the pointer still remains to the base class, but the object now changes to B. Now B is the derived class, and this particular relation is also established. CP equal to ampersand A would connect the pointer and the object. Now please note this comment may not be valid in this particular statement set of program, because I have edited the code over here and this comment may not be for this particular program. So we are trying to access the base class variable. We'll try to run this program. And it has been successfully executed and B's value is stored with 100. So we can declare that this is also possible. It has got its status yes. And now we are trying to access D and try to run it. And it has resulted in a failure. Again, the same case, a base class pointer is trying to access the derived class variable. So this also does not work. Now we are going to look into the third possibility, that is the pointer belongs to the derived and the object belongs to the base class. So I change this. The pointer belongs to the base class and the object belongs to the base class. So we try running this. So right now the variable has not changed. It is still with the derived class variable, and we can see that the permission is not granted because of the object trying to access the derived class variable via the base class object. So it is not possible. So this scheme does not work, and we'll try to replace this D with B and we'll try to run it. That also results in a compilation error, so that does not work. Now we are going to see a case of the derived class pointer and the derived class object. So which would mean B, this remains intact, this remains changed, or this gets changed. So now the pointer is also belonging to the derived class, the object also belongs to the derived class, and we are trying to access the base variable over here. So when we try running it, it gets successfully executed. And this is an actual scheme of inheritance. The pointer is also belonging to the base class. The object also it belongs to the derived class, and the object also belongs to the derived class, which is trying to access the base class variable. So this definitely works, which is why you get the output over here. So this generates the output. And the last case we are going to work out over here is D with the value 100. We are going to run this particular program, and you can again see that the program has been successfully executed. Now if you look at this case over here, the method executed is of the derived class. You can see that D equal to and B equal to statement is displayed in this particular case. So here the method of the derived class is executed. So this also works. So this can be summed up as the general conclusion. You have a base class pointer and the derived and base class object. When they are connected, it can access a variable and base class variable, and it can not access the derived class variable. And similarly, by running the individual programs, you can study this table and how this works out. Now coming back to this program, this note, all these programs mentioned here are the different cases of the concept mentioned here. You can try running it out on your own and try to make a study over here. So the point being asserted here is, we realize a base class pointer can be given reference to the base class and derived class objects, but it can access only the base class variables and not the derived class variable, which is highlighted by these 2 points over here. Sorry, by these 2 statements over here. This is the summary given over there. A base class pointer can be given reference to the base class as well as derived class objects, but it can access only base class variable and not the derived class variable. And similarly, coming over here, we can see that a derived class pointer can be given reference to derived class object only, which is the only case where you have an output working out over here. So a derived class pointer can be given reference to derived class object only, but can access both base class as well as derived class variables. So this concludes this topic, and basically it explains all these programs. It can be tried out on your system, and you can make an understanding of this particular concept and how does pointer work with base class as well as derived class objects in trying to access the base class and derived class variables.